last episode, we talked about the treatment for the ADD or ADHD, which included the stimulant and the non-stimulant. But Dr. Jian, this day we heard the stimulant has created a crisis. What's going on with it?
Currently, the stimulant has created a crisis, similar like opioid crisis. From this slide, you thought they were talking about stimulants. No, if you take a look carefully, actually mostly they are talking about opioids. You can see from the year 2000, the stimulants and the opioids kill similar people, smaller among people, 5,000 out of 400 million population in this country. So that's not a big deal. So back then that's not a problem. But because since the year 2000, the Purdue made a medication called oxycodone. Oxycodone is medication can help patient chronic pain, can make patient feel much better. Then physicians, patients alike thought they found a wonder medicine. So they significantly increased the prescription of the oxycodone. But that's not a problem. The problem also is because people die from opioids. Significantly increase year by year, unchecked, for about 10 years, until 2010. 2010, what happened is government cracked on the opioid prescriptions. You can see here. Then the distol, some richer plateau, are not increased. That is because the prescriptions has been significantly decreased. You can see from this picture slides, you can see since 2010, the government cracked on the opioid prescriptions. And the opioid prescriptions decrease year by year significantly. But the death toll from the opioids, you can see, actually is not decrease, it's increase. Why? It's because when physicians decrease or stop prescribing opioids, then sometimes like abandon the patients, then turn the patients to the street to buy heroin, fentanyl. Do you see that? So, especially when people use heroin, then government start cracking down heroin. Then people turn to fentanyl. So because patients, with the opioid dependence, they desperately need the opioids. So if they cannot get it legally, they will get it illegally. So you can see, government try to crack down the opioid prescriptions and just make things worse, not get better. This is paper from last year. They mentioned, well, right now the problem is not get better. Actually, we need to improve outcomes. They actually indirectly say that the way of deal with opioids failed. What can we do? We just cannot ask a patient stop. That's not working. So then they recommend we have to individualize patient care with the compassion. You see, this is a new strategy. Actually, we need to use this strategy 12 years ago, but right now they start catch up. But the problem is here. History repeats itself. Stimulants have been under the radar, in the shadow of the opioids for the past 20 years until 2018, 2019. It's the very first time stimulants kill more people than heroin, oxycodone. So the government start cracking down stimulants in the way similar like 12 years ago. That will cause you a problem. What's the problem? It's because, like 12 years ago, physicians and the patients with stimulants use, they will be becoming the victims of a next crisis, stimulant crisis. The patient will be killed if we significantly decrease the prescriptions or stop the prescriptions. Then we definitely turn patients on the street to buy cocaine meth. Or physicians still irresponsibly prescribe the stimulants when not licensed. Over the past 22 years, more than 1 million people killed by opioids, and thousands of physicians not licensed because they're irresponsibly prescribing the opioids. Of course, most physicians, to protect themselves, like me, just simply decrease or stop the prescribing the opioids. Personally, I never ever prescribe one oxycodone. It's because I don't want to get into trouble. That's understandable, right? But that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable to the patients. Why? So right now there's dilemma. We continue irresponsibly prescribe medications to the patients like we used to. Patients want Adderall 60 milligrams, 90 milligrams tablets. I have seen so many patients on that dose, while the immediate the tablets, the maximum dose is 40 milligrams. Patients are above the maximum dose even twice. Some physicians still do that. Of course, that's irresponsible behavior, should be stopped. We just cannot irresponsibly prescribe medication or abandon the patients. Both are unacceptable, right? Do you think which is better, abandon the patients or still irresponsibly prescribe the medications? So how can we do that? So now we need to go back to think about the problem. You can see from this slide, this is reality. Over the past, from 2006 to 2016, Adderall increased double. Right now it's 2022, Adderall's increased not just double, it's triple. So that's a reality. How did this happen? Why do you use more and more Adderall? How do you explain that?
Well, people want to use it for fun, I think.
For a variety of reasons. No. Some people argue it's because of America, the population increased. No, increased not that fast. Yes, over the past 20 years, population probably increased by 10%. But definitely is not triple, right? Right now, we realize the reason Adderall increased dramatically. One of the reasons is because in the college campus, the increasing number of students try to use the stimulants to enhance their academic performance. In the working place, the employees attempt to use the stimulants to increase their productivities. At home, many people use stimulants for recreational purpose, for fun. In the many clinic, they use stimulants to help lose weight. Now, I'm telling you, stimulants have become a shortcut towards success, happiness, and try to keep it in a good shape. But that's not working. So why? Why we say that's not working? That's called misuse. The reason is this is not really what stimulants do. Stimulants increase norepinephrine dopamine, not as directly improve their capacity. So we'll actually assume stimulants increase norepinephrine, increase dopamine, then increase your capacity functioning of paying attention, focus. Then you use those focus attention to fulfill your obligations, then to do your jobs. Then everything will get better. Your performance will be improved academically or occupationally, or even socially. So you can say there's three assumptions has nothing to do with the stimulants. Why? Stimulants purely is just increase norepinephrine, dopamine. After that, we assume increase capacity. After that, we assume increase your capacity used for attention, focus. So that's not necessarily related to anything with the stimulants. Like, for example, let me give you an example. One of my patients on the stimulants, he feel more energetic, but he didn't go to work. He go to casino, gamble. They lost a lot of money. They come back to tell me, so Dr. Jian, I don't feel good. I said, why? It's because he said, I lost money in the casino. You can see, increase in norepinephrine dopamine does not necessarily convert to increased capacity functioning, right? So you have to wisely use the increased capacity. Yeah. If not, that will not be working. So right now, this is why we call misuse.
Thanks for Dr. Jian answering our question today, and don't forget to subscribe our channel so you won't miss Dr. Jian's following video, and thanks for you joining our studio again.